Hello and welcome. You're watching Prime 5. I am Osama Shah. The political drama in Karnataka, it has taken a sharp turn with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his deputy DK Shivakumar camping in Delhi amid the growing tensions within the ruling party. Dismissing any talks of a power-sharing deal or a cabinet reshuffle, Siddaramaiah has made it clear there will be no leadership change and he is here to stay for the full term. Meanwhile, even as power play continues in Delhi, a host of senior leaders and ministers, they met the AICC President Mallikarjun Kharge at his house just a short while ago. Officially, all of them maintain that it was a courtesy visit, but amidst the power play in Delhi, this meeting, it becomes more important. Listen in to what Siddaramaiah had to say.
No discussion taken place. That is my reply. Mr. D.K. Shivakumar himself said it, that there is no vacancy of the CM post. My answer is, whatever decision taken by the High Command, both of us will follow, will obey. No, there is no scheduled program. Neither Rahul Gandhi ji nor Kharge ji invited us for party to discuss the issues regarding the party.
Meanwhile, few of those leaders, they have also expressed some concerns over the current political scenario, the repeated statements and the constant chatter of change. In fact, my colleague Deepak Bopanna, he spoke to Iqbal Hussain, a DK Shivakumar loyalist. He said that his demands remain the same, that DK Shivakumar should be made the Chief Minister. Take a look.
There is no question of leadership change.
Now
Would you want to say anything?
We are depending only on High Command, sir. Whatever the High Command decide, that we will follow it, sir. Please.
Because you had also mentioned that, the notice you will respond to, but your stand that you want a change remains the same.
Yeah. That is there, sir. That is there. Now, in the future, whatever the government, this High Command says, that we will follow it, sir.
Okay, but your demand remains the same?
Yeah. I stand with my word, sir.
Okay, because the Chief Minister is now saying that, for 5 years he'll continue.
Whatever it may be, sir, whatever it may be, I stand with my words.
Okay.
I demand, we must see that DK Shivakumar to be a Chief Minister, that's all.
All right, I'm currently joined by senior journalist Madhavan Narayanan as well as Professor Sajjan Kumar, a political analyst, to shed some light on what is taking place in Karnataka. What is the future of both these leaders? Madhavan Narayanan, to you first. I mean, is this just a power tussle or is there a deeper ideological and a leadership crisis within the Congress party in Karnataka? What do you make of it?
There is no leadership crisis as such. There is certainly a power struggle. And I think you mentioned ideological problems. It does exist in a way which, in fact, I'm glad you brought out that question, because there is no secret in the fact that DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah are in what in Silicon Valley they call co-opetition. They are cooperating as well as competing within the Congress. So there is a certain amount of jostling for power, shadow boxing, you want to call it. Yeah. But the significant part is that both of them are swearing by the High Command. But unlike Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah is assertive that there is no change and there was no power sharing program which was thought to exist earlier but never confirmed. He says there was never no formula. But in the context of your question on ideological differences, it's important and significant that Siddaramaiah represents the so-called Ahinda, the backward class minority alliance, which has become now this centerpiece or the key aspect of the Congress's national level political strategy, especially with its demand for caste census. Now, what that means for Karnataka is the Vokaliga community represented by Shivakumar and the dominant Lingayat community may be comparatively less important for Congress. And that image also has to go out for Bihar elections, where a lot of other backward castes other than the dominant Yadavs and Kurmis are there. So therefore, Siddaramaiah is speaking with a measure of confidence that this is no occasion for the Congress to, the High Command to remove him. And but it's also a very subtle signal that, look, karke dekh lo. As they say, look, you dare not touch me.
Yeah.
But everybody swears by the High Command in Congress, but you have to read the body language. That's how politics works in the Congress. The body language is heavily tilted in favor of a non-loyalist. You know, everybody is officially a loyalist to the Gandhi family and the High Command in Congress. But you have to see the other signals. You know, the supporters of Shivakumar are more keen to swing Kharge or so-called High Commanders, who essentially it's three people. It's Rahul Gandhi, maybe Sonia Gandhi, plus Kharge, plus the General Secretary, who in this case happens to be Randeep Surjewala.
Yeah.
If they were sure, they would have given out a signal. Now, they were not sure, and what we are witnessing is a muscle flexing by both camps, the Siddaramaiah camp as well as the Shivakumar camp. But what we need to read between the lines again is that even if Siddaramaiah doesn't make way, it is a subtle signal that the loyalists of Shivakumar have to be increasingly accommodated in the power equations through appointments, cabinet or otherwise. I think that's where things stand now. A lot will happen probably after the Bihar elections. A lot will depend on that. There could be national responsibilities of either of these leaders. We'll have to watch out for that. But at the moment, Congress is in a bit of a drift. Yeah.
You know, I'm glad that you brought up the Bihar elections, the upcoming Bihar elections. And I want to understand from Professor Sajjan Kumar, how significant then it becomes the role of the Congress High Command in resolving or escalating the situation at this moment?
This is a very pertinent question because one finds a striking parallel to understand the issue between the episode in Rajasthan when Gehlot was the Chief Minister and Sachin Pilot was the contender, as you see now when Siddaramaiah is the incumbent and DK Shivakumar is the contender. And herein, remember, in the case of Rajasthan, Gehlot was given the option of becoming the national president of the party, which he rejected and defied the High Command. Now, take the case of Siddaramaiah. He is 76 years old. If he relinquishes the post of Chief Minister, then certainly he cannot be part of the government in Karnataka. Congress High Command doesn't have the alternative mechanism to accommodate a leader like Siddaramaiah because the party doesn't have the incentive in popular perception to make a comeback to the center in recent years. So therefore, High Command doesn't have the sort of leverage which is needed to force a mass leader, a heavyweight regional satraps, to fall in line. And that is why the crucial leverage that the High Command needed, which was still a bit enforceable in the case of Rajasthan when Gehlot was there, that still is missing in the case of Karnataka. And that is why 76-year-old Siddaramaiah, if you think from his political calculation, he doesn't have any option right now but to defy the High Command. Because A, as has been said, he represents Ahinda coalition, that is the backwards, Dalits, tribals. 2, he is the only credible mass leader. And C, DK Shivakumar, despite all the clamoring, cannot have his managerial skill, still cannot be a match. This is 1. 2, we also have to see when we talk about this code of high command in Congress, now you have 2 doors. One is Rahul Gandhi, other is Priyanka Gandhi, and we do not know reportedly which one favors whom, because we have seen in Himachal, etc., lots many the choices for CM phase has been oscillating between the 2 camps. Not these 2 are in rivalry, but
not to forget that there is also Mallikarjun Kharge, who comes from the same state as well. Gentlemen, stay with us. Let me go across to my colleague Deepak Bopanna. Deepak, just for our viewers, was there any, any sort of internal agreement for a rotating chief minister? Because the chief minister, he himself has denied any such agreement. Was there any talks as such earlier?
Well, for me to either confirm or deny that will set the cats among the pigeons, won't it? Because there have been these talks that this conversation has happened. There has been an agreement from day one since when the government has spoken about it. But officially, none of the leaders have maintained this. Unofficially, many of them have said, well, there has been this conversation in the past. But who is actually going to right now, pay heed to that conversation that happened 2.5 years ago? Whether they're going to bank on that promise, whether they will keep up that promise. These are the bigger questions today. Because on one hand, you have DK Shivakumar, who feels that he's done a lot for the party and they should give his share of credit. And when I say his share of credit, the top post in the state. On the other hand, Mr. Siddaramaiah, of course, feels that he's still a mass leader, enjoys the support of most of the MLAs and doesn't see a situation where he has to relinquish his seat. So for the High Command, the dilemma here continues. We've seen this sort of a dilemma in the past in Madhya Pradesh. We've seen in Rajasthan. And at the end of it, how the High Command has dealt with that situation, has decided whether they come out of it intact or broken. And in most of the instances, they've come out broken. They don't want a situation like this in Karnataka. So it's going to be important how they handle it. On one hand, you have hectic parleys in Delhi. On the other, you have, Mallikarjun Kharge here in Bengaluru meeting ministers. Some of the ministers here are aspirants themselves to the top post, be it the Chief Minister's post or even the KPCC President's post. So a lot right now riding on how the High Command deals with this situation.
All right, Deepak Bopanna, thank you very much for breaking it down for us. Let me go back to Madhavan Narayanan and Professor Sajjan Kumar. Very quickly, Madhavan Narayanan, what impact could this have on the Congress party's upcoming elections? There is Bihar, that is a very, very important state for them.
I think two things you have to remember, Osama. Let's get some context here. Congress is not the only party facing such a situation. Even BJP faces it in every state. To some extent, in BJP, they play it much more subtly. Having said that, Congress is in a much more precarious situation because it's grassroots leaders. Professor Sajjan Kumar mentioned Ashok Gehlot. He's in that category. He belongs to the Mali caste, which is a bit of an OBC, backward caste in its own right. And then you have Siddaramaiah. So there is a certain amount of simmering discontent or ambition that has to be managed more carefully. Now, at the national level, it's equally true that dominant castes within the non-upper caste, so to speak, like the Vokaligas or the Jats in Haryana, also have to be managed. So the art of management is critical. But right now, I think the Congress will be completely focusing on Bihar, where it has a point to prove. And a lot will depend on what happens in Bihar. I think at the moment, from a voter point of view, from a vote-catching point of view, Congress is definitely bet its farm, so to speak, on the lower OBCs, the OBC plus minority plus, Dalits. And to that extent, it will give higher weightage to these leaders. And it has everything to gain and nothing to lose from that. So that is why you can see Siddaramaiah is acting so confident. Because the High Command, there is a certain finessing, right from Mahatma Gandhi's time, it has been true. There have been some grassroots leaders and there is a High Command. So there's a balancing act. But right now, the die is cast in favor of the OBCs.
That's a great point that you have made, Madhavan Narayan. Professor Sajjan Kumar, very quickly, where does this leave Siddaramaiah? Does it, strengthen his position within the party or isolate him further within the party itself?
We have to differentiate the MLAs and the support base. Now, within MLAs, certainly Siddaramaiah seems to be slightly isolated because around 100 MLAs are swearing by DK Shivakumar. But still, if you go by the caste arithmetic, Siddaramaiah outweighs Vokaliga, despite the fact that DK Shivakumar was crucial in garnering the crucial difference from the Vokaliga community away from the JDS, from the HD Devegowda's, the Patriarch's party, which was crucial because in terms of the vote percentages, BJP and Congress were almost retaining their vote, but it was JDS vote transferred to Congress. Now, DK Shivakumar not getting that post may alienate the Vokaliga, the second most populous caste in Karnataka. So certainly Siddaramaiah, I do not see is going to be weakened in his own core support base. But certainly if you see MLA's support and from their vantage point, Siddaramaiah seems to be losing the kind of cohesive grip he used to have in the past. So certainly,
All right, Professor Sajjan Kumar and Madhavan Narayanan, thank you very much for making those very crucial and important points. In fact, although there is a growing, voice within the party that everything is all right, everything is fine, but there is also the other side to it. Many are predicting that DK Shivakumar is going to be elevated, and one of those is a seer who has predicted DK Shivakumar's elevation from the Deputy Chief Minister's post to the Chief Minister. This seer says that DKS will become the Chief Minister very soon. Listen in.
ಅವರ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ಭಕ್ತರ ಆಶೋತ್ತರದ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ರೈತ ಬಾಂಧವರು ಮತ್ತು ವರ್ತಕರು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಮುತ್ಸದ್ದಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಮಗನಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಹೋರಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂಚೂಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀಮಠದ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಇದೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದೇ ಬಾರಿ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದವನ್ನು ದಯಪಾಲಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.